We want gun to make money.
I go by the name of Ayerz Mabinda, which is a state name. But basically, my name is Ayabulela. Yeah, the surname is Mabinda. I'm from Eastern Cape. Eastern Cape is in South Africa. So yeah, I'm from a small town there, which is called King Williamstown. King Williamstown is just outside East London, you know. So I'm actually from there, you understand? Yeah, I'm actually a musician, basically. That's how I like to, I always love to define myself, you know. I'm an artist, I'm a musician, but basically I specialize most on rap music because that's how I actually grew up. I grew up on rap. Also, I try and do dancehall as well because it's one I believe it's actually one of the biggest things that we have in Africa right now. You understand? It's been there though, so it's one of the cultures that I try and tap into. But just in general, I'm a hip hop artist. Just that specifically basically focuses on boom bap. But I do a whole lot of dancehall on the side to add the flavor to what I do. So basically, I started doing hip hop music back in the day. I think when I was like 8, 9. That's where I actually discovered the art in me. You understand? So I wouldn't say it was something that I got an influence from anyone. You understand? It's something that grew in me. You understand? As I was like, I come from a family where there's like I don't have a big brother. You understand? So most rappers you'd hear saying that I got the influence from my big brother who used to play this and this and this. For me, it was like I was all by myself, basically. So I had to like learn the culture, dig deep and get into the culture. That's where I also discovered the fact that I can actually write music. I can actually rap, you know. Then I started doing that for my friends, obviously. On the streets where we're chilling, I was bust freestyles, bust verses that I wrote, recite for them, you understand? So it has always been something like that. And then it grew in me. It grew to a point where now I realized that I can actually compose music. I can write music. You know, I think at the age of 12, I started taking the whole thing seriously. And then at the age of like 15, I started recording as an artist to say, okay, now I'm putting out work now. I'm recording. But you know how it is in the hood, man. It's not really at a point where you record and release and have big releases and all that. We all gotta start somewhere. So it was always about that to me. You understand? So then now also I started recording music. You understand? At the time, the content was really not strong. You understand? Because I wasn't really on the tip of like being conscious or being aware of what's happening around me. You understand? But then it grew in me that the art thing that, okay, then now the conscious mind comes through because, you know, conscious mind comes to anyone. It comes with growth. Then as I grew in my music now, I started focusing more on content, which molds the type of an artist that I am right now. So that I'd roughly say that's my actual music. That's actually my music background, you know. So me as an artist, I like focusing more as I spoke of consciousness, as I spoke of being like having a conscious mind. I focus more on like what's happening around me as an artist, you know. My first inspiration would be myself. You understand? The first ever inspiration is me, you know, the things that happen to me. Because, you know, just tapping out of the question, man. Most kids, I realize, most artists in general, be it hip hop or whatsoever, they're really scared to write about themselves, you know. Sometimes they feel like if you write a song about yourself, it will be too real to a point that you'll be naked. You understand? So basically my focus is to step in that zone, you know, because you'd hear rappers telling other people's stories, you understand? As much as the next person's story is interesting, your story is interesting as well. So if you like grow guts to actually write about yourself, I think you draw like enough attention around you and also you teach a lot of people. So having that conscious aspect, then I decided to like, let me write about myself, you understand? Let me focus more on what's happening in my life. As I've been currently I'm working on a project, ITHALANDA, which is my son's project. So I'm talking about love mostly there because that's what I want him to learn. But then again, I've always been that artist, and then I worked on a project titled, the project is actually titled, the first project that I worked on was around 2009, Who Am I Introduction. So the project was like a breakdown of who Ayerz Mabinda is, you understand, for people to actually understand me, you understand, because when you love an artist, I believe as artists there are people that follow us. So the only way that those people can actually tap in our zone, can actually tap in our intimate space is if we let them through music, you understand. So I actually built this project because I don't really make projects. I build projects, you understand? But I will get into that as to what do I mean when I say I build music. So I built that project, man, just for people to get to know me. And then I followed up with the second project, which was Who Am I Introduction Volume 2. Those were mixtapes. I put them out on the streets. Fortunate enough, or unfortunately, at the time the internet was not this big, you understand? So the music was on hard copies and all that. So after that, man, I decided to work on another project, which is what people want to hear about, which is Audiobook 2.0. Audiobook 2.0 is more like, initially the project was supposed to be titled My Audiobook 2.0. So then, before the release of the project, I realized that, okay, let me not call it My Audiobook 2.0, let me just call it Audiobook 2.0. So that if I call it my audiobook, people would think like, okay, it's Ayerz audiobook. So basically the project is everyone's audiobook, because there I talk about family issues, I talk about love, I talk about hate, I talk about anger, I talk about happiness, I talk about almost everything on that project. So the project is basically, the content of the project is actually to actually show people reality that they always the reality that they always turn a blind eye to. You understand? Because there's the song family music. Family music is more when I tell you guys about the situation that I grew under, you understand? Or I actually grew in, you understand? Me not talking to my sister, like blood sister, for like 5 years because of differences, you understand? So I want people to learn from those things, like teaches forgiveness, it tells you about hate, because we have to talk about hate. In order for us to beat hate, we have to talk about it. In order for us to win love, we have to talk about love so that we can teach people what love is. So basically the project is about that, you understand, which is Audiobook 2.0. So then now, as I'm doing this interview, man, I'm actually in Zimbabwe, Harare, and I'm looking at the nicest places around here because the view is dope. The view is real dope. You understand? So the reason for, like, I would say the reason for us being here is to actually add content to the project. You understand? Because the music we release is like the music that I work on. As I said earlier on the interview, that the music that I work on, I don't write music, I build music. You understand? So so basically my music is like a series. Do you understand? I write series of music. So if you actually listen to my sound, if I tell you about the first project, it was Who Am I Introduction Volume 1, Who Am I Introduction Volume 2, Audiobook 2.0. So that's basically a continuation. You understand? So then now we're working on Audiobook 2.0, the Deluxe Edition. The reason for that is because we believe so much that people didn't really get much of the content because of the budget that we have. You understand? You don't really have serious budget to push the music far. You understand? So that technically means that now we have to give it more time than we would give it. For example, it was for me, I would push a project for a year and then let it go. But then because the budget is not there, we have to push it for a year or two. So then now we're pushing more content on the Audiobook 2.0 for people to actually read about it, for people to actually hear, for people to actually relate. So then we're releasing the project, adding a couple of songs on the project that add more of a different content on the same form. It's more of a different content on the same form. So we'll be releasing that project real soon. And then number 2, the most important one, man, is that we're here to build a full project. Like, we haven't decided if it's going to be a mixtape, if it's going to be an EP, if it's going to be a full album. But then the name of the project is ITHALANDA. I think I mentioned the project at the beginning of the interview. So the project is actually about my son. You know, I have like a 2-year-old boy. So then his name is ITHALANDA. So a lot of people ask, what's that? Like ITHALANDA is a Xhosa name because I'm a Xhosa speaking person. So now what it means the light spreads. You know, ITHALANDA, if you break it down, it means the light spreads. So then now the reason for that is because when the homie actually came through, I was like, my life was like crazy, you understand? There was a whole lot of bullshit happening, you understand? But then now, when he came through, things started like working out. Even me as a human being, me as a man now, not as an artist, but as a man now, I started growing, I started realizing things, and I started being at a point where I actually face realities, you understand? So now, I just realized, even before his birth, man, I realized that, okay, this homie is bringing light to me. So hence I named him ITHALANDA. So I thought to myself that, man, it's only fair that I write a project for him. That the song title is actually ITHALANDA and the name of the project is ITHALANDA. So I thought to myself, it's only fair, man, that I write a project for this homie and then teach him about life before he even reaches the conscious state I was talking about. Because now he's still a kid now. You know, he's just moving to whatever direction the parents are pointing him. So then now he will grow up and be a man. So I want him when he actually become a man, you understand, even if I'm not there, because we can't run away from these things, because it's life. I might not be there. Even if I'm not there, I want him to have a reference, you understand? I don't want him to have a stepfather as a reference. You understand what I'm trying to say? But I want him to have like that project to live with. That, okay, Pops wrote this project, and this project he spoke about love. In this project he spoke about hate. In this project he spoke about growth. In this project he spoke about expectations. Because on the song, the title song, the ITHALANDA song, I actually tell him that what is it that I expect him to do. I tell him that my parents taught me, and I tell him exactly what I'm teaching him, you understand? So it is a breakdown of the whole project, you understand? It is the breakdown of everything that we've worked on then until this far. So then now, yeah, man, yeah, I talk a lot. But then now we had to break it down like that, man. I just want to also encourage brothers, man, who are busy doing music, man, that let's keep pushing, you understand? Just keep pushing. I know it gets tough at times, you know. And then also, I would love us to push positive content, man. Not that I'm saying people out there are not pushing positive content, don't get me wrong, you know. But what I'm trying to say is, we as artists, we have the influence. You understand? We have the influence that we have currently. It's very crazy. You understand? You know. And also, I'm seeing a question popping there. What inspires me? Yo. Actually, as I mentioned, what inspires me is life in general. We understand. I'm telling my stories, man. I'm telling my people's stories. So I'm expecting people to get motivated from that. I'm expecting people out there to get angry, positively angry towards that. Now, getting it done, you understand? That's what we need to learn to get it for ourselves. So now, the keys out there, man. I just want to motivate you guys to actually keep on doing whatever you're doing. Be it you good at school. Not all of us were like that. Be it you actually good at what you do in terms of like art, be it education, be it whatever. You understand? Be it art. You understand? Because we like using art as something to fall on. You understand? Which is, for me, it's not something to fall on. If you believe you're an artist, man, don't create things to fall on. Because once you start creating things to fall on, that means you start doubting your dream. Because in the beginning, if you create things to fall on, it means that you doubt whatever that God has given you. You understand? So it's basically about that, man. And also, I would like to urge people out there to start supporting local. Because we're local, you understand? But also the locals should start producing quality stuff. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So basically, man, it's all about that, man. Yeah, I think that we're done with the questions. Yeah, on Facebook, man, you guys can check me on Ayerz Mabinda, Ayerz. You check me there. Ayerz space Mabinda 91. And then Instagram is Ayerz Mabinda, one word, Ayerz Mabinda 91. And then on Twitter, I'm at Ayerz_Mabinda. Yeah, and then that's Twitter at Ayerz_Mabinda. Yeah, that's the actually, and then on YouTube, Ayerz AYERZ space Mabinda 91. So it's basically that the social media, man. We're pushing positive content. And then one last thing that I think I should mention is that as we here right now, we in Zimbabwe right now. So the content we're trying to push is Africanism. That is the content we're trying to push, is Africanism. You know, it doesn't need money, it just needs time. You understand? We've on the project as well, I think I should have mentioned that I've worked with my brother, Casper Beatz, man. He's one of the dopest, he's there smiling right now. He's one of the dopest producers we have in Africa. Yeah, so the homie is actually nice, man. You will hear, I think he's like produced like, I would say 100% of the project. It's actually 100% of the project. He produced 100% of my project, man, the ITHALANDA project. And then he produced like a couple of songs on the audiobook project. So he's one of the best guys. You guys should look out for him. His name is Casper Beatz. Same on Facebook, Casper with the one S, Casper, Beatz. You understand? You should check him out as well. You understand? He's like the future of African music. So we're just pushing Africanism. And right now, even as we're doing this interview in Zimbabwe, as I mentioned, we're looking at all these beautiful places out here, man. So we're just pushing that. The content is crazy. It's just being African. Ubuntu, ngamandla. Otherwise, yeah, man. I think I'm signing out. Thank you very much for checking this out. I'm out, y'all. I'm not a fluke, I've been around for a minute.